So it's Tony Gonzalez from Made in Metal, and today we are talking to Danny, the guitar player and clean vocals in As the Sun Falls. How are you?
I'm fine today. Thank you. And you?
Perfect. Your new EP is called Pohjoisen Sydän.
Yes, Pohjoisen Sydän.
Wow. Will be released the same day of the concert in Bilbao. No?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Could the fans buy the recording that day?
We are gonna make sure that we have that CD with us when we come to Spain. Yes. Um, also a little bit dependent of the cooperation with the label. It shouldn't be a problem. And um, that was the plan, yes, to bring the EP along to Spain. Yeah.
Are there very differences between Kaamos
Yes.
and Pohjoisen Sydän? Tell me.
Yes, so the main difference is that on Kaamos, these were songs that I wrote many years ago. These are songs that I wrote while we were still recording the very first album of As the Sun Falls, while Pohjoisen Sydän is very fresh, very new, and it has a different approach. So I tried really to go more into our own style, and it's a little bit more rock and roll. You can clearly hear it out of compared to Kaamos. It is a little bit wilder, a little bit rawer, a little bit more rock and roll, but sometimes maybe even a little bit heavier, I would say. And this is like the general direction we are going now, because we feel that this is what represents the best what we feel and what we think about our music.
What was the first recording?
The you mean the first album?
The first album, yes.
It was Last Days of Light.
Last Days of Life. Perfect.
Yes.
Yes, and what is the meaning of Kaamos?
So Kaamos is like that period of time where, you know, here in Finland, the sunlight doesn't shine anymore, but it's still like it is bright, but there is no sunshine. The sun doesn't reach the horizon. That means you have a little bit, it is like bluish violet colors in the sky, and everything is dark, but it is not night, you know. It's like it's called the polar night, but it is not night. It's just that it's daylight, but there is no sun. And this is called Kaamos in Finnish. This is like a very special period of time during winter. Like and the further up north you go, the further north, the longer it is. So it can be like for multiple months. You can be in Lapland for 2, 3 months and not seeing the sun a single time.
Yes. So Kaamos is a symbol of darkness, not black, darkness, maybe introspection, no?
Not, I wouldn't say darkness. I would say that of beauty, of like everything dark, everything dangerous, everything that looks dangerous or somber has also a certain beauty in it.
Yes. How this concept that you mentioned of beauty influenced your creative process and approach to the musical composition?
Oh, a lot, a lot. Um, Basically, almost everything I write is about the nature around me and how dangerous yet how beautiful it is. Like I get inspired when I'm driving, across the country, or I'm driving just to the next village, which takes already almost 30 minutes, and it's just forest left and right, everywhere forest and lakes. And I see everything is dead, everything is white, covered in snow and ice. The lakes are frozen, and it's just one level of snow. And I just think to myself that this is absolutely beautiful. This is like magical, and yet it is very deadly because when we have temperatures of minus 30 degrees, further up north, even minus 50 or even worse, minus 60. So it happened before. Um, this is very dangerous. This is very deadly, but so beautiful. And it's that contrast that makes it interesting to me. For example, the forest is a place of peace. It's a place of nature, of where you can be alone with your thoughts, and it's beautiful there. And yet, many people get lost in the forest or have accidents in the forest, so it can be a very dangerous place too. And it's that contradiction that I like very much.
Mhm. So this band began as your solo project?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yes. How your solo project evolved into a full collaboration? How has the dynamic changed with the addition of new members?
It was not an easy change, and the change is still going on basically because when you start a project as a solo project, then you're in the mindset that like you are alone and it's your band and it's your project and you do basically what you want. And it's a it's a progress that takes a lot of time to change and be open-minded for other people's opinion and it was already at the beginning like pretty hard, and now in the last years it began to be a little bit easier. I was able to give like the freedom that my bandmates were needing. Um, for example, my drummer, like I fully trust my drummer. I just tell him, hey, these are the songs, go ahead. Like, do your magic. You're the drummer, you know best. Same with my bass player. I sent him the tracks and I told him, hey, you know your shit. Go ahead, play what you want. I know you can do it. And that process was like, yeah, it was challenging. It was not that easy to learn to be together instead of just me writing the songs and then having my line only, and it's not that easy. There are still moments where I'm thinking like, but I don't want it that way, and I still have to like compromise and see that even though maybe it was not what I was imagining, that it's still very good, and then we take that. And especially on the Kaamos album there were a lot of moments like these. um, and also on that recent EP, there were moments where I really let like my musicians, like the other musicians in the band, do basically what they want with their tracks.
There was not a moment that, don't touch my music like that.
No, no,
Ah,
not on that EP, not this time.
Perfect. That means that this now you prefer collaborative work.
Well, we have kind of strange dynamic. It's that I write the songs and then we start collaborating together on that song and bringing up their everybody's um, let's say signature into the songs. Like I come up with a song and then I ask my singer, hey, what do you think of that? And then he comes up with certain ideas of what we could do vocal wise, and we start writing lyrics together. Or he comes up with an idea for lyrics or for a style of vocal, and then we work it out together. Or like my bass player comes up with an idea, hey, like I could play during that break. I want to play something more jazzy, for example. So these are like the things going on at the moment, yeah.
The Finland metal scene is always in process. How do you see your place within this process?
That's a very good question. The metal scene overall is moving very quickly and very fast. You have bands, growing very quickly on TikTok or on Instagram, and then they start playing a couple of shows and nobody cares. And you have other bands that out of nowhere they reach the point where they start touring with big bands and they create huge followerships, and then you have other bands that emerge from the underground, making it for big for one or two tours and then they disappear again. Or then you have also those bands that you expect to become huge but they just never grow anymore, and you see them once twice and then they just disappear. So it's a very fast moving scene, and in Finland it's not different. It's even worse. There are many bands going up and down here. The one difference is that Finland being in at the location where it is not easy for bands to go outside of Finland. And this is now what we have is pretty unique because not many underground bands in Finland have the possibility to perform in Europe that often. While with As the Sun Falls, we actually started outside of Finland and we grew outside of Finland before we even started inside of our own country. So while we are touring and playing festivals in Europe, we are actually not even on that level yet inside of our own country. So we are still fighting inside of that fast-moving scene.
Let me confess you that when we here in Spain see a band from Finland, we say, wow, the Finland bands are getting a big success everywhere. And now that you tell me this, maybe it's not that way.
Yeah, those bands from Finland that make it outside of Finland, usually they end up growing a lot and you know having some success indeed. But it takes a lot because Finland is far away. It is not easy to tour because you have to fly to Europe and then you have to rent a van or a tour bus or whatever. And the European market doesn't know you yet, so you have to, you know, play for very low fees. And of course, if the travel costs from Finland to Europe are so huge and the logistic is so complicated, then many bands don't go to Europe or they try to grow. And it is hard to grow without playing in Europe. And in Finland, there is that thing that the Finnish audience only recognize you as an established band once you are playing outside of Finland. It is very weird, very paradox.
But let me tell you that it's the same with a lot of bands in other countries. Yes, it's
Mm.
not an exception. Yes. But for example, Jani, in the case of As the Sun Falls, where do you want to place your band? Do you feel really good and confident in a medium or low level, or you want to uh, get the higher level?
That's a very good question. We all know that it's pretty hard to make it in the music scene, and I am working more or less full time in the music scene at the moment. So I know the struggle of that business, and I know that there is no there is no easy way to work in here. So we are definitely not aiming for, you know, the big star at the sky. We're not aiming to be the biggest name in our genre. Uh, we are basically just aiming to grow as far as we can. We just want to grow and continue release our music. And if we can come back to Spain, then we will come back to Spain. If we can get invited to Japan, then we will definitely take that opportunity and go to Japan or to Canada or to the US, and we will see step by step what is happening. And we have been growing a lot in the last years, the last 3 years. I mean, it's the first time we are coming to Spain, and that's already a success for us because I mean, new country, new audience. We know we have a small audience in Spain, but that's an amazing opportunity. And yeah, we are trying to make our best to grow out of the underground, maybe a little bit more on the professional side, but we're definitely not aiming to be like among the big names.
Now that you mentioned coming to Spain, please, the fans write the date is May 23, and you will be performing a unique show in Bilbao.
Yes.
What the audience can expect from this concert, and how are you preparing for this special performance?
So first of all, we are playing our entire EP, Pohjoisen Sydän, completely. So this is already the first unique thing. The second unique thing is like we are creating the most Finnish set list we could possibly do. We have quite a lot of songs that are sung either full in Finnish or a part of it is in Finnish. And we have songs talking about Finland. And we are playing this summer a couple of very unique set lists that are focused exactly on that, on Finland with Finnish lyrics. We're gonna be playing songs that we have never played before, not only the EP but also old songs from the first album or from the previous album, Kaamos, that we have never performed live before. So we are preparing a very unique mix, something that is even very unique for us, very, I would say even weird. So we're actually getting a little bit nervous because you know we haven't played those songs that much and that often in that order. So that's going to be truly for us also a unique experience to do an almost entire show fully in Finnish.
The last concert in here in Spain was a success I remember that you were also to the north of Spain. And I would like to ask you, it's a curious question. Have you ever thought how the people who live so far from your country connecting with you and your music?
Um, well, that's a good question. If I knew how they connect with our music, we will try to improve that even more. Um, but I think it's like Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp, um, people on forums sharing music. I think that's the main source of how people get to know us and see us in other countries.
Until now, do you have an experience playing live that you enjoy or you remember when you were on stage?
Oh, many, many, many. Um, well, there is one experience I had that was well on the first look not positive, but on the second look it was. It was the first show with my current lineup. It was at Go Film Festival in Slovakia, and it was over 40 degrees. And we were playing in the afternoon on that big stage with the sun hitting straight from the front. And we are not used to have 40, 42 degrees. We arrived from Finland and we were complaining because we had 25 degrees at home and we were like complaining like "Phew, it's way too hot." And when we arrived in Slovakia, we were dying, absolutely dying. But it was one of the best experience of my life. The whole weekend we just felt so free, so alive and welcomed. And it was an amazing show, everything. And not everything worked perfectly, of course, but it was absolutely worth it. And that's one of those bittersweet moments that I will remember forever.
Jani, and you have mentioned, not here, but previously, that you are already working on new composition. Could you give us
Mhm.
a glimpse into the musical direction you are exploring after Pohjoisen Sydän?
Yeah. Um, so Pohjoisen Sydän was originally written as a part of the upcoming album. And we just picked those songs out of the album selection to release it as an EP. So musically, it goes a little bit into the same direction, but there will be a much bigger contrast. That means that contrast between the heavy black metal-ish mellow songs and the more, soft ballad with acoustic guitars and clean guitar and clean vocals. There will be a much bigger contrast. There will be more clean vocals. There will be a bit more acoustic guitar. There will be more ballads or like more groovy stuff. But there will be also much more of the black metalish, blackish influenced melodic death metal with fast parts, blast beat, and everything. Um, so musically, it goes a little bit more into the wild area again, into that raw area. Um, but lyrically, it goes very deep into Finnish history and Finnish mythology, especially.
So, the first recording was Last Days of Life. It was sung in English?
Yeah, it was in English mostly.
Yes. And why did you decide to change the language?
I have the philosophy that the first album defines the genre you play, the second album defines the style you play, and the third album defines your character. And with the first album, we just recorded some basic melodic death metal. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm still pretty happy with most of it, but when I listen to it, I clearly see that it's nothing special. It's just a mellow death record among many, many, many others. With Kaamos, we started to go into that more atmospheric and direction, very, very melancholic, very sad, and I wanted to explore that a little bit further. And I think now we have found our style. I think now we have found that nice balance between the rawness representing the nature we have around us, that rawness of the Finnish nature, harshness, um, and the sadness, that melancholy that we have inside of ourselves here, mixed with the beauty that we see around us. And I think the progress has been huge. on a human level, on a musical level too. Yeah, big difference.
So, Jani, my last question is this. Taking account what you are telling me, that the band is in constant evolution, for those who wants to discover this band for the first time, which song would you recommend as an introduction to your music and why?
That's a very good question.
Not any from Last Day of Life.
No, I would say if you want to have a song to get into as a song falls, to hear what it is about, then I would say Among the Stars from the Kaamos album. But the latest single we released, Pohjoisen Sydän, is a nice journey through the band. It will cover everything we do, you from blast beat to clean vocals to acoustic part to heavy double bass to groove. It has everything. So I would say it like that, yeah. Among the Stars to get into it, and Luontoja to experience the whole thing.
Luento Yacidan is a song from the new EP that will be released the same day that you are here playing in Bilbao, Spain. Set the date and the poster on the video, and I'm sure that this concert will be a success in music and in audience that wants to hear a band that is so personal, like As the Sun Falls. Thank you, Jani, for your time. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. More than one question was a little difficult for you. You need to think on it. And I enjoy this situation. If you want to say something to say goodbye, this is your moment.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It was fun, and there were some very nice questions to respond. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Yes, in May in Spain will be hot. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yes, we will be waiting for you with beer and maybe some tinto de verano. Do you know tinto de verano?
absolutely not.
Tinto de verano is with a lot of ice. Is red wine and maybe some refreshment inside
Oh,
to
that
refresh.
sounds awesome.
Yes, to refresh. So, Jani, thank you very much for your time. I hope to see you here in Spain.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye.